So are you worried about hurricanes here in Florida? I was terrified of them when I was making my move from California. So today, I'm going to share with you why St. Johns County might be that perfect place for you to enjoy the Florida lifestyle, the beaches, without the constant stress of evacuations, hurricanes, storm damage. Stick around because this could be the video that would give you the peace of mind that you've been looking for. Hi, I'm Gail DeMarco, and I work with people every day just like you, people that are thinking about making their move to St. Johns County. So whether you're relocating from across the country or just moving locally, I'm here to share everything today that I know, especially about hurricanes in Northeast Florida. I'm just recording this video 48 hours after Hurricane Milton, and it passed by with hardly any damage. A couple of newly planted trees are upside down, lots of porta potties are upside down because I live in a new construction area. I live in Rivertown, but it was definitely not a surprise because this is my second hurricane since I moved here. The first one was last month, and that was Hurricane Helene, which brought a lot more wind. I lost a rocking chair off my front porch, couple of plants, but you could really hear the wind at night. So let's start with why St. Johns County is unique when it comes to hurricanes. Our location in Northeast Florida, gives us a huge advantage. We're tucked away from the typical hurricane paths that affect areas like the Panhandle or South Florida. Hurricanes often shift direction and weaken by the time they get here, which is nice because compared to like Fort Myers and Cedar Keys and Tampa and the Panhandle, they just continually get clobbered during hurricane season. And living here for the past two hurricanes, I've seen firsthand the mild impact, that compared to the initial media forecast, they had us like losing our minds because they said we were going to have 100-mile winds above our house. And I seriously expected to go outside of my house the next morning and see some red ruby slippers underneath my foundation. Hurricane Milton, as you can see, caused a minimal disruption, just a few trees down, no real damage to homes or the infrastructure. But even with Helene, when we had a lot more wind, we were still in great shape. Historically, St. John's has rarely been hit by a major hurricane. If you look at the past storms like Matthew in 2016 or Dorian in 2019, you're going to see the same trend. They caused more damage, tons of damage in other parts of Florida, but by the time they reached us, they lost a lot of their strength. The same thing happened with Hurricane Milton. We prepared as we always do, but the reality was, just calm winds and a bit of rain. And this is not by coincidence. It's because where we are geographically located. St. Johns County is protected from the worst impacts, by the way of the Atlantic currents and the winds, interacting with our coastline. So when I moved to Florida, one of my top priorities was finding a place where I could feel secure during hurricane season. And after living through wildfires and earthquakes, and speaking of earthquakes, when I was in San Francisco and we had that big earthquake, I was 9 months pregnant. I didn't have time to prepare. My pool broke in half, water everywhere, my floors, rippled. I had a grand piano go from one side of my house to the other side of the house. My aunt, and I had an inspector. We were getting ready to sell our house. I had an inspector under the floors of my house, which almost got trapped. Talk about being scared. I knew I wanted to enjoy the beauty of Florida, the Florida coastline, without the constant stress of a major storm, or damage. So St. Johns County really stood out to me because of its reputation and for being the safer part of the state. And since moving here, I've experienced two major hurricanes. Well, major in other parts, but not major here. I can honestly say that the decision to settle down here was one of the best decisions I made. I tell my friends that ask me, hey, how do you like Florida? I feel like I won the lotto here. I will never leave here. You can't get me to go back there, unless it's a wedding or a funeral, and even that's questionable. But even during hurricane season, I just feel at ease knowing that St. Johns County has a proven history of, staying protected. So what do we expect during hurricane season? Well, hurricane season runs from June to November. And living here in St. Johns County, the level of worry you experience is a lot lower than in other parts of Florida. We've seen what's happened to Fort Myers and the Panhandle and Orlando and Siesta Keys. I mean, it's devastating there, right? But preparation is always, always important. And we tend to see less severe impacts from storms. In the case of both Hurricane Milton and Helene, there was plenty of notice, like a week's notice before the storm arrived, and allowing everybody to get ready without the stress. And never did I experience that, because normally if you have a fire coming, man, you got 7 hours to get out, because the fires, they travel so fast. Our local authorities are proactive, and we see really clear communications whether to prepare or to evacuate. One of the great things about living here is that we have the time to make informed decisions rather than reacting at the last minute. Although you are going to find those people that are told to evacuate. And believe me, if someone's telling me to evacuate, I'm going to evacuate. I'm not going to say I'm staying in my house. I can always buy another National Geographic print. I could always get my house repaired. But, when your life is at stake, you evacuate, you listen. If a storm does pose a threat here in St. Johns County, we have efficient evacuation routes with major highways like 95 nearby. We get inland really quick and just very straightforward if needed. But we didn't even have to evacuate for either Milton or Helene. But it is good to know that if a more serious storm were to come our way, we're prepared. On top of that, our infrastructure is built with all these hurricanes in mind. Unlike North Carolina, which just suffered crazy, crazy damage. So, they did not have the infrastructure. I had personal friends and clients that were stranded there that couldn't leave and didn't have food and water and still are without power. Homes here, they are constructed with, strong winds in mind, and our community is so well prepared to bounce back after a storm. Having experienced this already, I can confidently say, St. Johns County is ready for anything that comes our way. And that is, really gives you a lot of peace. So let's just talk about pros and cons about living here in St. Johns County. Let's talk about the pros first. So we have safe geography, right? Our location reduces the chance of a direct hurricane impact because they just tend to lose strength, and shift before they reach us. On our evacuation, if evacuation is necessary, we have efficient routes, access to highways. You can get inland quickly, avoiding any potential storm surges, or severe winds. And we just have a resilient infrastructure. Homes here are built to withstand hurricanes. I was watching our house being built, and the way they're tied into the ground, these hurricane cables, it was really, really assuring when I watched what goes inside of our sheetrock. So let's talk about the balanced coastal living. You get the beauty of Florida's coast without the consistent stress of storm damage, that other coastal areas unfortunately face in Florida. And that's where they get the reputation for hurricanes and damage. But the cons are insurance costs. Even in safer areas like St. Johns County, hurricane insurance can be a little bit pricey, though it's generally lower, than other high-risk zones. For instance, let's talk about my house here. So I have a 4,200 square foot home, and I pay $3,000, and I have coverage on coverage with State Farm. I have what happens if the water comes through the floor? What happens if the water comes through the roof? Because it's not covered by the same thing. And I didn't know this until I heard all these stories from people that had storm damage. So I'm overly insured, and it's $3,000 a month. My mom has a 1,500 square foot home 10 minutes from me, and hers is $1,200 a year. And she has everything all included State Farm. So if you talk about what my insurance was in California, it was over $6,000 a year, and that was just for fire insurance. Now, I also had to pay homeowners insurance, and now earthquake insurance, that was $14,000 a month in San Francisco. Not a month, a year. So I think we're very, very lucky, and I don't think that it's pricey. So the day before the hurricane, everybody was running to Costco, including us, and I got there about an hour and a half before it opened because my husband wanted to get a second generator because I do serve a lot of clients that are elderly. I work a lot in a 55 community. and we wanted to make sure we had an extra one, and thank God we did, because one of our clients had a breathing machine and they had a blackout. They were one of 10 houses that had a blackout, so we were able to provide and have an extra generator. And I'll tell you, people were grabbing the toilet paper and the water and just getting crazy. So where you could go right down the street to Ace Hardware and there's plenty of water and plenty of toilet paper, but when somebody sees somebody grab, the other one does. So just stock up. Have enough food, not for 1 week, but have enough food for a month. You should have enough food, whether it's canned or dry, in your home. Just be prepared. Don't be one of those last minute people that are running and stressing. And then, like, the generators were $300 more at Costco the day before the hurricane than they were a week ago. So thank you, Costco. But the reality is that while there are a few cons, the peace of mind and safety you get here living in St. Johns County kind of outweighs them. So, just addressing common concerns about hurricanes, for many people that are moving to Florida, hurricanes are a huge concern. I mean, they were for me. If you ask my husband, I was obsessed with him. I didn't even want to move to Florida because I just had these crazy thoughts of, having my house spin around and finding the red ruby slippers, underneath the foundation. But the more research I did, the more I realized, no. It's not everywhere, and there is a safe place, and it happens to be in the best school district, which was even better. So for many people, it is a major concern, and that's understandable. But one thing to remember is that hurricanes offer a unique advantage over other natural disasters. That kind of sounds weird, right? But it's true, because you get time to prepare. With all the modern technology and the news station, you'll know days in advance where the storm's headed, if it's headed your way, and it gives you plenty of time to secure your home, or if you want to evacuate, pack and evacuate. And there's always those people that even when you're told to evacuate, they're like, I'm not leaving my house. Well, leave, right? Because those are the people that end up getting rescued from roofs. So living here in St. John's, you don't experience that last minute chaos that can happen in other disaster areas. And I've experienced that firsthand, living, in a fire area, and I was actually north of Sacramento, below Tahoe. We would basically all of a sudden find out the wind has changed and it's headed to your house. And I'd be loading up 6 horses on a horse trailer, hitching up the trailer, getting hay, my husband would be with another trailer. You're making plans with neighbors. You're trying to evacuate animals. It is not fun, right? And I mean, you just never know when it's going to happen. But here, our local government, they do a fantastic job of just keeping everybody informed, which reduces the stress. Just the peace of mind that comes with living here, in St. Johns County, it offers a sense of security and peace that you will not find in other parts of Florida. You get to enjoy the best parts of coastal life, the beaches, the laid-back lifestyle, without the constant worry and stress of these severe storms. Like right now, our weather is phenomenal, right? It's like San Diego weather. So we get like 7 months a year, great, because we're Northeast Florida. It's cooler here. Like, I have to wear a jacket. I went and put on short sleeves today and I went out to walk my dogs. I'm like, whoa, it's cold. But it's just cold because we're so used to the heat, because we have 3 months of really hot weather and humid, but not today. So every time a storm passes, stress passes, right? Because it's not about avoiding storm damage. It's about having the confidence to live your life knowing you're in a place that's prepared and secure. The peace of mind is priceless. So how to prepare? Well, this is pretty simple, but I'm just going to go over it, right? Because even though St. Johns County is safer than most coastal areas, you still need to be prepared during hurricane season. Just make sure you have the essentials: water, non-perishable food, flashlights, batteries. Keep your home insurance up to date, please. I had one client that were about to close their house in 2 days, and this was not recently. They told me about a storm that they had South Florida, and they'd stopped their insurance. They didn't know that they needed to keep it. Their whole house got wiped out, so they had to start over at the age of 60. So don't do that. Keep your home insurance up to date, and having an evacuation plan in place is key, right? So you don't want to be trying to figure this stuff out when it's happening. You want to, have all that planned out. I'm a planner, so I know when something is going on. I know exactly. We have a hurricane room. I have all our supplies. I have list of our phone numbers in case I lost my phone, because do you really know your relatives' phone numbers? You don't. You know, our local authorities are so good about issuing alerts. I mean, it comes on my watch. You could see the picture right here. It comes on our phones. And it's like when you live here, you just quickly realize that hurricane season is something you can manage, you know, just without constant worry. So it was actually like, I know it sounds really weird, but when I got up and right after Milton and I walked outside and I didn't see like things all tossed around, I was almost like, oh, I was kind of like disappointed, right? Because they had us all hyped up. But I want you to feel as confident about living in St. Johns County as I do, you know, and after experiencing, you know, a double whammy, I can honestly say it just offers that level of peace, security, safety, you know, whether it's the proactive community, the strong infrastructure, everything here is just designed to keep us safe. So if you're thinking about moving to St. Johns County, you know, just rest assured, you know, you're making a great choice. So if you're considering moving here to Florida and you want a place where you can enjoy sunshine, beaches, you know, a wonderful community while minimizing your hurricane risk, St. Johns County is where you want to be. And just remember, no matter where you live, there's always going to be, you know, Mother Nature is there. I don't care if it's earthquakes, it's fires, tornadoes, there's always going to be something. But, you know, it's just about choosing a place where you're going to feel safe and protected. You know, I can confidently say that, you know, St. Johns County is that place. Even my 88-year-old mother doesn't feel like threatened, you know, when she hears all the news. Thanks so much for watching. So if you're thinking about making a move here to St. Johns County, you know, please go ahead and give me a call, 904-640-8000. And I would love to help you or you and your family make this move where we can find you the perfect home, great, best community, and just learn about what you're looking for. And also, if you want to comment on this video or like the video, and please subscribe to my channel. I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.